Happy birthday. You didn't tell me it was your birthday. Yeah.
Finish that up tomorrow, so I'm happy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be very long.
Oh, we can?
Yeah. It's like 4 days in a row there. Well, a minute. Nancy?
Yeah.
There you go. He chose a hurry, so it's underway.
I don't think the air is working.
Doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot.
You got it aimed at me now.
Yeah.
First time.
The other time you're grumping about Well, being 7 o'clock, I like to call this regular town board meeting to order. Fire exits are out the door and to the left, should that be blocked, out the door and to the right. There's an AED located on the wall across the hall, should that be necessary. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence for the deceased residents of the town of Hamlin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Pastor, would you be so kind as to lead us in an invocation?
Absolutely. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for just this beautiful day. Thank you for this time of year. We look forward to seeing your hand in our life, Lord. I pray that as we know that these that are in charge here are ordained by you, and Lord, I pray that everything at this meeting will be done decently and in order. That you be pleased with it. I pray that you give them wisdom as they make decisions on our behalf. Again, thank you for each and every one that has given up their time and their life to invest in their local town. Thank you for that. And Lord, again, may we please you with what we say and do. I pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Baxter?
Here.
Vogel?
She's excused.
Hurlbut?
Here.
Jaeger?
Here.
Peters?
Here. We now have a public forum portion of the meeting. That's where the public gets to address the board, comments, questions, etc. This is generally try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. This is the portion of the meeting that the public can address the board. Please try to keep your comments to the entire board, not one person in particular. If you want your comments entered verbatim into the record, you would need to provide a copy of those comments to the town clerk. We have two people that have signed up to speak in no particular order. I have on top, pardon me, Karen Brzezlik.
Brzezlik, yes,
Brzezlik, I apologize.
thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Karen Brzezlik. I just wanted to talk about my property assessment. On September 30th, 2019, I purchased a seasonal home at 6440 Shore Acres Drive. Along with the home, I purchased over 7 acres of swampland across the street with an address of 6439 Shore Acres. At the time of purchase, the ponds across the street were assessed at $1,400. I'm a police captain with New York State DUC Police, and I access my department's GIS mapping system for the wetlands, which shows the entire area between Shore Acres Drive and the Parkway is in fact designated a state freshwater wetland. I have documentation here if you care to see it. It's my entire 7 acres is also a regulated state water wetland. On May 11th of 2021 of this year, my neighbor on Shore Acres brought me a letter that was delivered to his house by mistake. I don't have a mailbox at Shore Acres since it's a seasonal home. My main home is on Chadwell Road in Irondequoit, and my attorney ensured that that mailing address is on my closing documents as well from 2019. My neighbor brought over a letter from the Monroe County Treasury for unpaid tax notice in the amount of $2,483 and some change. I assumed it was a mistake. It said to contact the town of Hamlin if I had any questions, which I did. I contacted the town of Hamlin the next day. I questioned why that could even happen, as my taxes that I owed were so high, and why were they delinquent on property that was only across the street. So my home property is paid for my mortgage. The property across the street, the swampland that was assessed at $1,400 was unpaid. I was also informed that the swampland was reassessed in 2020 from $1,400 to $55,000. That's almost a $4,000 or a 4,000% increase on unusable underwater swampland. I called the assessor's office and I spoke to Nicole and I explained what happened, and I questioned my reassessment and why I was never notified. She replied that my assessment reassessment notification and tax bills were sent to my residence. I replied I never received them. I asked her what address they were sent to, and she replied that they were sent to me at Mertenzia Road in Farmington. That's not my address. I don't live in Farmington. I've never lived in Farmington. Then she said, well, they were probably mailed to my residence on Shore Acres, 6440. And I replied they couldn't have been because it's a seasonal residence and I don't have a mailbox there. She then said that if the address had changed from where the notice and tax bills were sent, it would have to be up to me to update my mailing address when I purchased the property in 2019. To which I replied I in fact did. She had a copy of my closing documents, and she said, as a matter of fact, I have them right here, hold on. Then she said, oh, wait a minute, is your mailing address 42 Chadwell Road in Irondequoit? And I said, yes, it is. She goes, okay, you're right, it's on here, it's our mistake. We then discussed the reassessment, and she said she would look into it and get back to me the next day. I called the assessor's office the next day, and this time I spoke with Jeanette, as Nicole was not there. She was aware of the situation and informed me I would have to file a change of address form with the town. I asked her why I would have to do that when I already had my current mailing address on my closing paperwork. And she stated I still needed to do that, which in fact, I then came down here to the town and she helped me file that form. Nicole also called me back and said that she had reassessed the swampland down from $55,000 down to $4,200, which is still an increase from the original assessment of $1,400. I was informed that I had to come down here and fill out a complaint of real property assessment form as well. And I asked her if I should still pay that $2,400 based on an assessment of $55,000, knowing that it was going to change. And she said, yes, the county will reimburse you after the new assessment. So on May 21st, I came down here. Jeanette was kind enough to print out my past bills, both my town and my school taxes on the property. That had shown in previous years it was assessed at 1,400, and then it went up in 2020 up to 55,000. I asked her as well, should I pay that amount for the tax bill when my property would be reassessed, and she stated I should, otherwise my taxes would be delinquent again, and that the county would give me a refund. I paid that amount to the town clerk. Monday, the 24th, I called the assessors back, and she informed me that I would have to fill out that complaint of property assessment form, because the next night was a meeting here to dispute your assessment. I did, and again, they said that I would be reimbursed by the county. So I proceeded to call the assessor's office every few weeks asking for an update and when the county would be refunding me. In June, Nicole said, call me back after July 1st because the county was busy doing the tax rolls. I said, okay. I called her the week of July 12th because I had not heard back from her. And she emailed Maria